guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kimberly and this is a place where I like to mostly talk about sewing and share my makes and my progress as I develop this skill set. I know that it's been a few months since I've posted a video, and part of that is just the juggle of creating YouTube videos and the fact that I personally am kind of a perfectionist, and so videos take me quite a while to make and edit, and so I just really haven't had time lately. I actually, over the last 4 months, have been working on launching my own business, and so I've been very immersed in website design and kind of putting all of my effort and my free time into that endeavor. And so and I've still been sewing quite a lot, I just haven't had time to make videos. But all that to say, I am here today, my kids are at school, I just took a shower, I'm feeling very energized and ready to share everything with you. So since the last video that I posted with my makes, I have made 12 items over the winter, and some of the items I gifted to people, others I have traded on Lucky Sweater, and I actually, you know, because I made it and I didn't end up liking it, I think I have some pictures, so I'll try to share what I still am able to share. The first item that I finished since my last video, which I think I actually talked about this item because I was partway through making it, is the Paola Workwear Jacket by fabricstore.com. So this is the jacket, and it's basically a color blocked jacket that I made using this Fabulism cotton that I had scraps of left over, and then I also used this 7-ounce softened organic cotton from Blackbird Fabrics, and the colorway I believe is called Teak. And when I had posted my last video, I was partway through making this shirt and I was like, oh, this is going great. This has been like such a smooth process and I'm super excited for the finished result. Since that time, I had so much turmoil with finishing this jacket. For some reason, the seam to attach the arm to the jacket, that arm, I think it's called arm scythe, I'm not sure, but that round, the part where you attach the sleeve to the jacket, that rounded edge was like way smaller than the opening to the jacket, like substantially smaller, and it got to this point where I was like, wait a minute, did I print this pattern incorrectly? Why is this not lining up at all? I had extra fabric and I ended up having to cut out a new sleeve, and what I did was I just kind of guesstimated how much bigger to make that curve so that it would fit. And luckily I was able to figure that out just from eyeballing it, and so I sewed the shirt on, and of course all of the seams are flat felled seams, and then after I tried it on, the sleeves were like 2 inches too short. They were like quite high on my arms, and so then I was like, oh my gosh, and I ended up looking on Blackbird Fabrics and they still had more fabric, and so I ordered more fabric and was like, I'm gonna make this right, I really want this jacket to work out. And so the fabric came in, and then I cut out a 3rd set of arm sleeves and I re-sewed all of that on, and it worked out the 3rd time, but unfortunately every time I took the sleeves off and I redid it, I lost a little bit more seam allowance because they're flat felled seams and I had to like trim a tiny bit each time I was putting it back on. And so what happened was I finished the jacket, and of course now the back shoulder area is too tight, and so it slightly doesn't fit me, which was a little bit of a disappointment. Ultimately, I'm really happy with how it came out. I decided not to put buttons down it since I can't even wear it, it's too small for me. But the inside yoke is finished with the color blocking, and then I hacked the pattern to color block the back of the jacket as well. This project, the pattern was from fabricstore.com and the pattern was free. And then as far as the fabric went, originally what I had purchased of this softened cotton, it would have cost me $35 to make this shirt, but then I had to like order more fabric to make the sleeves again. And so this jacket ended up costing $50 for me to make. So the total cost of this project was $50. And as far as time goes, I can't even tell you how much time went into it because there was so much unpicking and so many moments of frustration. Ultimately, I would not make this pattern again, and I honestly am to the point with fabricstore.com patterns that they're just not my jam. They like I have nothing against fabricstore.com, but at the same time, all of their patterns, they are created and pieced together with tutorials that you have to click external links and kind of piece together the pattern with all of these other tutorials that they've linked. Sometimes I've found that the tutorials don't seem to coincide with the actual pattern that I'm doing, and I have to like use critical thinking skills to figure out how to get my desired result. And so I'm just to the point with fabric store patterns where I think I'm just not willing to take the risk of doing it anymore. But this was my first project. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if you can see this little bag over here in the corner, but my family, we adopted a little puppy about 5 days ago, and she's 10 weeks old, and she's been sleeping in this bag because I went on a walk recently before I started recording, and I just had her tucked in my little tote bag, and I walked her around, and she fell asleep, and she's just been sleeping in there ever since. But if she wakes up soon, I'm excited to show you her because she's like the cutest little thing ever. The second thing that I made after that jacket was another Bilbo Vest, which is a pattern by Thread and Yarn. She's actually a creator here on YouTube. Her name's Lorna, and I just really resonate with her energy, and I really relate to her lifestyle because I also live on a farm, and we homestead and we garden, and I just really appreciate her connection to nature and her outlook on life. So if you haven't seen any of her videos, I would highly recommend going over to her channel because she's just wonderful. But I've made 3 Bilbo vests so far, and that was my third one. And I used, I had this blue shawl that I had purchased when I was in Mexico, and it was this beautiful deep blue color with like, it was hand woven, and I loved it, but it just sat in my closet for the last 2 years because I just never found an opportunity to wear it. And so I decided to turn it into a vest. I lined it with black linen, and I made this super cute vest. I do have pictures of it, so I'll insert the pictures for you now. I made the vest and it fit beautifully, but what I realized is that the reason I was never reaching for it was just that I don't resonate with that color. Like, the color adds shadow to me and makes me feel gloomy and like washed out, I guess. And so I ended up posting it on Lucky Sweater, and I just traded it with someone, so it's in transit to its new home, and hopefully it will get lots of love there and be worn. I think the pattern was $16 originally, but because I've made the pattern 3 times now, I divided that total by 3. So for this project, the pattern was $5.33. The linen cost me $20, and then the outer part of the vest was upcycled from something that I already owned in my closet. So the total of that project was $25.33. After I made that Bilbo vest, I got onto a vest kick, I guess, and I made my 2 daughters some vests too. I found a vest pattern on Etsy. It's called the Hailey Vest by Tiny Couture. This is the first vest, and it's so cute. I used this leftover crinkle cotton that I got from Blackbird Fabrics, and then I also used this leftover viscose linen that I had in my stash. And this one is for my younger daughter, and it has little ties, and it's super, super cute. And then for my older daughter, I also just used fabric scraps that I had lying around. This one's in a red ditzy floral cotton, and then the inside is some of the leftover of that softened cotton that I used on the Paola workwear jacket. And I quilted both of these vests and they came out really well. This one I decided to do with little buttons instead because my daughter wanted buttons. These turned out really great, and I feel like with Etsy patterns, it's kind of a mixed bag. Like when you buy them cheaper, sometimes the patterns are great and sometimes they're not so great. And I can't actually remember how thorough the instructions were, but vests are pretty straightforward. It's just a couple pieces and it's pretty, I mean, it's pretty beginner friendly. So, and I've made like a million vests at this point, so it was a really fast sew for me. And as far as cost go, the pattern was $3, and then for the fabric, all of the fabric that I used was scrap fabric. So basically I made these two vests for $3. The next thing that I made is a Roscoe Blouse by True Bias. And I had been eyeing this pattern for a while. That one and the March Dress by Helen's Closet. I was kind of like in between both of them. Up till this point, I actually like didn't have any blouses in my closet. I know that seems really odd to like not own one single blouse, but what I've realized as I've started sewing over this last 2 years and getting more into style is that like all of the clothes that I owned were like tank tops, and then I had a few sweatshirts, and that was kind of what I wore. And so I thought it would be fun to add a blouse to my wardrobe. I don't know if you can tell, but this is the same red ditzy cotton that I made my older daughter's vest with. And the shirt is super light and airy. The pattern was very well detailed and all of the seams were really well finished. Since I've had this shirt, I haven't worn it too much. I think part of that is the fact that it's the middle of winter and it's cold, and apparently I like to sew things that don't relate to the current season whatsoever. But it's also a really billowy style and I just don't know if I love it. So I'll insert some video of me wearing it and you can let me know if you have any styling tips for me. The pattern was $16 and then the fabric was $8, and so it was actually a really affordable make, and the total came to $24. The next thing I made, I am not able to share because it no longer exists in its original form, but I made a ruffle sleeve top by Peppermint Magazine, which is also a pay what you can / free pattern. And I had some Fabulism cotton that I wanted to use to make a cute feminine shirt. I measured myself and cut the pattern out, made the shirt, and it was way too tight in the arms and I like couldn't move my arms at all, and I was so frustrated because I didn't make a toile, and I kind of never make toiles, to be honest. I kind of just like go for it, which obviously can backfire. And I don't know if I would recommend doing what I tend to do with fabric and patterns, but luckily I had a little bit left, and so what I ended up doing was I unpicked all of it and I reprinted out the pattern and cut it out in a bigger size. Normally you cut the front on the fold, but I didn't have enough to be able to do that, so I had to cut 2 halves of the front and then just create a seam down the middle. But it ended up working out and the shirt was super cute and it turned out really well, except I still was having tightness across my shoulders where I couldn't have full mobility, and I was a little frustrated about that because I went up a whole size and everywhere else on the shirt it felt really loose, but I wasn't wearing it because it just wasn't very practical because I couldn't move around in it. My thoughts were that maybe part of that was just because this is kind of a stiff woven fabric that doesn't have any stretch to it, so that could be part of it. Because I really liked the pattern and the instructions were super clear and all of the seams were finished with French seams, which I really appreciated. But, oh, she's awake. Hi, come here. Oh, come here. Oh, you're so sweet. So cute. Say hi to everybody. Can you say hi? Here, look right there. Yeah. Oh. This is Ruby. She's our sweet little girl. where was I? Oh yeah, so it was sitting in my closet for the last couple months and I ended up turning it into a tank top. So I can show you the tank top. I don't have pictures of the original shirt as a ruffle sleeve top. But basically I ended up turning this into a tank top and just taking the sleeves off and making some bias binding and finishing it. And now it's super cute. Again, I haven't really worn it because it's a tank top and it's the middle of, well, now it's March, but you know, it's still winter time. It's still cold, but I'm really excited to wear this soon. This project was very expensive. This was a very expensive tank top because even though the pattern was free, the fabric was $50, and had I measured and made a toile and done it correctly and it fit, it would have cost me maybe $30 for the shirt, but I had to recut out the sleeves once, and then I ended up recutting the entire pattern, and I barely had enough fabric to be able to do that. And so the shirt ended up costing $50. However, I really liked the sewing pattern. I would try making it again because I think it would be super cute. But maybe next time I would use like a double gauze or something that's more flowy. And I also think that this pattern is a really good base pattern just for a V-neck tank top. I think that it's super cute and it was really well written. So I would definitely use the pattern again. But I learned a valuable lesson about, you know, the risks that I take when I don't make toiles. Okay, I need to take Ruby outside because she has been sleeping for the last two and a half hours. So I will be back. Okay, so after I made that ruffle sleeve top, I made two Hovea jackets, one for myself and one for a friend. Of course, I don't have that jacket of mine anymore, so I didn't take any pictures because I'm horrible at taking pictures of things. But I do have a picture of one that I made for my friend Wendy, so I can insert the photo here. I made the Hovea jacket and I did the mid-length quilted reversible view. I just didn't find myself reaching for it because it was quilted. It was kind of bulky, but then it was like open in the front. It just didn't feel substantial enough. Like I didn't feel warm enough, and then it kind of looked like not a jacket to me. It just looked kind of like pajama-y. I don't know. There was like a setback there where I just felt like I couldn't wear it out. I ended up turning it into this vest that I'm currently wearing, and basically what I did was I just unpicked the entire jacket, and then I looked at the Bilbo Vest pattern that I had, and of course the pattern pieces didn't really fit onto the panels that I had left. The panels were smaller than what I needed, and so I kind of like hacked the pattern a little bit, and then I changed the neckline to be a V neckline instead of a higher neckline that is in the original Bilbo Vest. I pieced it together and I made these little cute little ties like my daughter has on her vest, and I've been wearing it a few times already, so I feel really good about changing it up and turning it into a vest. And it's reversible, which is really cool too. Of course, this side does not go with what I'm wearing at all because it's like this really busy print, but I think it turned out really cute. And I might take off these little ties though and put snaps in instead because I feel like it might be slightly warmer if I do that. But I'm really happy with how it turned out. Going into the price of this project is a little bit depressing. When I made the original Hovea jacket, I had to buy the pattern, which was $16. And then the fabric, this is linen, this green, and then the other side is Fabulism cotton, which is kind of expensive. And then I had to buy batting as well, and I think I got like organic batting, I don't remember, but it was from Blackbird Fabrics. In total, the jacket was $100 for me to make. I'm pretty sure it was around $100. And so there was this guilt there when I wasn't wearing it. And then now obviously some of the some of the fabric went to waste in the sense that like I didn't use the sleeve. I haven't used the sleeves for anything yet, but I am hanging on to them and hopefully I'll find a use for them. Oh, and I did use a bunch of scraps that I had left for my So Frugal make, which I guess I could just mention my make for So Frugal. So Frugal basically is a challenge every March where you pick a free sewing pattern that's free to everyone. It's not like a pattern that you already have in your stash, therefore it's free. It's a pattern that is accessible to anyone that's free. And then you choose fabric that you have lying around that is not fabric that you're purchasing, and you make something out of it, and then you post it on the 31st of March on Instagram, and I think there's like a bunch of prizes and all this stuff. And I haven't actually participated in any of these sewing challenges yet, so I was feeling really motivated a few days ago, and I ended up cutting out the Barden dress, which is another free pattern on Peppermint Magazine, and I used all of these scrap fabrics that I had. Most of them were Fabulism cotton scrap fabrics, and I made a tiered dress, a patchwork tiered dress out of it. It turned out pretty cool. It's a little bit crazy in my opinion. It's pretty out there. I don't know. Part of me is thinking about turning it into a skirt, but like, you know, I can't show it to you yet, so you'll have to stay tuned. Up next, I made another Hinterland dress. I believe this is the third rendition. The first Hinterland I made was out of shirting cotton, and it was way too thin, and so it just doesn't have that substantialness to it. And I think it's great for summertime and hot weather, but it wasn't my intended goal when I made that dress. And the second one I use a 100% viscose, and I just really didn't like it. And so I decided to make a third Hinterland dress, and I used this non-stretch tumbled cotton that I got from Core Fabrics, and it's in the colorway Forest. Here's the dress, and I got matching green buttons. I love this dress. It's so much more substantial than my other ones. It's a lot heavier weight, so it's perfect for wintertime. And I made it sleeveless because I really like layering long sleeve t-shirts underneath just to kind of change up the vibe. I'm so proud of this make. All the finishes are really well done, and I forgot to say too, I actually got a serger over Christmas. My grandma gave me some Christmas money, and I ended up buying a new serger, and I've been using it all the time, guys, and oh my gosh, it's amazing. I love my serger. I've tried to make a couple knit items still that I have been unsuccessful, but I've been using my serger a lot for woven garments, and I love this thing. But yeah, this turned out really well. I don't think there's really anything I would change about it. The only thing that I kind of messed up was that I moved the darts on the pattern, because when I cut the pattern out, I put it up to my body to try to like see where the darts were facing, and I felt like they were way too low, and so I moved them up, and then of course they're way too high now. And had I not altered the pattern, it would have worked out great. But because this is finished with French seams, and I tried to move the dart myself, like to kind of fix it, and it just didn't seem like I could do it anymore. And I do have quite a bit left over of this fabric, but I feel like this is good enough, and it looks really good, and I don't think I need to worry about changing it. So, oh, I sewed this up in a size 8, and I did the sleeveless full placket version. And then as far as the price goes, the pattern was $16, but I've made it 3 times now, so it was $5.33. The fabric was $31.50. So the total for me to make this dress was $36.83. Okay, so I have one more make to share, and I'm really excited to share this make. Over Christmas, my husband bought me a 3-month membership to Sew Over It so that I could learn. They have this class on like how to use a serger and how to sew with knits, and And they also have like jeans making classes and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, this will be really cool because I can take these courses and actually learn from someone these techniques instead of the way that I have been doing it, which is just learn as you go and kind of like figure it out. I did the serger class and that was really helpful and it gave me the confidence to start using my serger. I've been feeling really called to make my own pair of jeans because over the winter I kind of let go of my whole no-buy that I had been doing, which was what got me into sewing in the first place. And I ended up going on kind of like a shopping spree, if you will, and I was like, oh, I really need some jeans. I need some pants for winter. It's like so cold. I've got nothing. And so, of course, I ordered all this stuff and nothing fit, and then I had to exchange it, and then that one didn't fit, and then I was just going through all this exhaustion and frustration of the process of buying clothing online, which granted, I would love to just go into a store and buy something in person. The problem is that I live in the country and there's just like no stores out here. I think the closest shopping center is like an hour and a half from here. So there's just not very many choices, and the thrift stores out here are really hit or miss. And I have gone to the thrift store and tried finding pants 3 times now, and it's just been like not successful. But anyway, all that to say, I went in that whole rabbit hole of buying clothes online, not liking it, returning it, and going through that whole high and low of like being excited for a new pair of jeans and then it just not working out. And that whole process just made me feel so reinvigorated to take my sewing skills to the next level. And so for like, I think like a month and a half, I was like watching all these videos on YouTube on like sewing and fitting jeans and like top down, center out, and all of these different techniques to get the right fit for jeans. And then I ordered some fabric, I ordered a jeans hardware kit, and I was like feeling really good about it, especially with my course and how they have a whole class on how to make jeans. And yeah, I made a pair of jeans. And again, I didn't make a toile. I didn't use a muslin for this. And the main thing for me was just like, it seems weird to use like a fabric that has none of the same properties of the fabric that I am using to make a toile for jeans specifically. And so I kind of was just like, I'm gonna just cut this out and hope that the measurements I took work out. I fell into the leopard print trend and I made a pair of pants with this leopard print that I got from Blackbird Fabrics. I think it's called Cool Cat and it's a cotton twill. So it's a little lighter weight than denim. But yeah, I made a pair of jeans and there's like hardware on here and there's rivets and I've got like, oh, where is it? Got a little coin pocket here. This is the Sew Over It Ultimate Jeans pattern. And I gotta tell you, I did not think that making jeans was gonna be this easy. Yes, there are a lot of steps. And yes, it took me, 5 or 6 sewing sessions to get the pants done. But it actually wasn't hard. It just was like more detailed, more steps than other things. Okay, please stop that. Hey, okay, ow. Come here, take your rope. Come here. Yeah, I was really surprised at how straightforward it was, and it was a very pleasant experience. And actually, the jeans fit me. They fit me really well, actually, and I was so surprised. I was not really expecting them to fit. So that's the last make that I've done since the last time that I posted a video. Currently I have some extra fabric, so I'm making my daughter a matching pair, and I'm like super excited because she loves matching and she really likes leopard print too, so I think it'll be super cute for us to have a matching pair of pants. If you're wondering, I ended up sewing a size 12. The pattern was free with my membership, which is $20 a month, and it's a monthly membership that I can cancel anytime after 3 months. And so I think I'm on my 2nd month right now, and I've been really enjoying it. And then as far as the fabric goes, the fabric was $44 for the pants. And then I had to buy quite a few notions, like the hardware kit for the jeans, and then I had to get like jeans needles and special thread and all that stuff. And so the notions were $30 and it brought my total up to $77 for this pair of pants. I'm just happy that they fit and that I can actually wear them. They're a little bit outside of my comfort zone, but my husband thinks that they look really cute, and I'm just getting used to playing around with more colors, I guess. So if you're still watching, I'm really grateful that you're here, and I am planning on posting more videos soon. I think I've just been kind of going through this mental block with YouTube where it is a lot of commitment to make YouTube videos, and so I've just been kind of sitting with like, oh, well, what's my goal for this channel and what do I want to share? And basically I've come to the conclusion that I have a few changes coming up with this channel that I'm really excited about, but I can get into that more later in a separate video if that's something that you'd be interested to hear about. I guess that's it for me today. I still have a few hours left until I have to pick my kids up from school, and I went to our local farm store yesterday and I bought a bunch of onion plugs and seed potatoes, and so I'm planning on going into my hoop house in a minute and just kind of cleaning up a few beds and hopefully getting some veggies in the ground for this coming season. So I hope you're enjoying your day and you're having a lovely transition into spring, depending on where you live, I guess. I look forward to chatting with you soon. Thanks for watching.